Hello friends, this is Sujak. I decided to make one of my first videos ever in life, fighting something cool like a barbarian king. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fun. It's day 171. It is a 3 school contract. Sadly didn't get a chosen, or sorry, didn't get a, what you call it, champion. Um, but, dims the brakes. If you know anything about me, I make some weird parties. This is a weird party that's never fought chosen before, so we'll see how it goes. Uh, try to be as concise as possible. These are the pooper scoopers. You got the poopers and the scoopers. It's basically true of all my parties, but you have guys who are poopers and you guys who are scoopers. This guy's a pooper, but he has amazing melee defense, so it's kind of borderline. He started out as a budget fencer, but basically his role these days is, for the most part, he's a tank, right? He's a melee defense tank who sits there with dodge and relentless and heater shield, stuff like that. And he's gonna sit there and tank, right? Um, we'll see how that works. I was thinking about replacing with this guy who is a real pooper, but the whole overwhelm reliance for this guy really made me nervous, and it's fine if people die on this. I expect people to die, but this guy or this guy either can die. I don't really mind. They're easily replaced. But oh, what I should do though is I should put his armor on one of my other guys. There we go. Not this guy though. Alright. Good thing I made this video because I totally would have forgotten to do that. Anyway, so this guy's just going to sit on the flank and block. So this is a pooper initiative tank, basically. It works. Get over it. Obviously, if he gets hit by a hammer, it's going to suck, but he has lots of base melee defense anyway. It's not the end of the world. This guy's a scooper. This guy is awesome. Classic, really badass reach advantage sellsword. I'm saying classic, but I wouldn't be surprised if most people don't really make bros like this. Nimble two-hander, right? I fucking love this guy. I don't know. It's mostly thematic, but he has a million melee defense. He gets even more for reach advantage. He always hits, and this is a really good warbrand as well, which is surprisingly good against barbarians, especially once Killing Frenzy procs. So his priority is going to basically be getting a finishing kill on something so he can get Killing Frenzy and then go ham with this brother right here. That's his goal, which suggests that perhaps he should not uh, necessarily be... He's feeling kind of lonely over here to me, but anyway. This guy's a pooper, but for some reason is really consistent and good. I honestly don't understand it. I don't know. It's very hard to explain, but if you've seen him in his 152 battles, he has been very consistent and good. Overwhelm is really strong. Um, fast adaptation in combination with that is just like a cool combo. Like, he's just powerful, and part of the reason is probably this badass famed weapon that I gave him. And I know some of you would say, like, 70 minutes when you're giving him a famed weapon. Like, I mean, it's not the end of the world if he dies, but this guy is an icon in this group, and for some reason really consistent and good. I don't understand it myself, necessarily. In my head it doesn't make sense, but if you watch him in fights, he's pretty fucking good. So, prepare to be impressed, okay? This guy is a totally replaceable tank who's been with us for the whole run. He's just an indom monster of sorts. I hate the indom cycle. It's way too strong, so he does not use it, although he was initially designed to use it. And his goal is basically going to be to split the chosen into two halves, to the best of his ability. So you got the left and the right. I don't know if that's a good strategy, honestly, but um, at least we can avoid some straight up like line versus line shenanigans there. We could get a little bit of a bump there, so there's a little bit of breathing room in here for our guys to move around. We'll see how that works. You know, it makes sense for this guy to be on the flank instead of this guy. You know what I mean? And then I make this guy, uh, you know, I just go like full DPS maybe down the line here. That certainly makes sense, but I want to try this, basically. It's just, I don't mind if I lose this guy, and I kind of want to have a spear tank in the middle. Something about that that just seems cool to me. Just, you know, limiting the interaction in the middle as opposed to simply on the sides. We'll see. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but um, this guy was purchased as a scooper, but you know he's not amazing. He's certainly not amazing yet because he's level 10. So if we could just get to level 11, this guy would be way more prepared for this fight. But whatever. This is a great weapon, and basically this guy sets up for my executioners. So there's a lot going on here that maybe even I am not super confident will work, but the idea is these two guys are overwhelmed, right? They're overwhelmed duelists right here. And this guy in the middle is a very slow adrenaline user. So if this guy goes last, which he almost certainly will because he has no initiative, then the chosen, I expect, will be hesitant to use adrenaline themselves. And if they don't use adrenaline, that means these two guys will go faster, although this guy doesn't have relentless yet, which makes me a bit nervous. But anyway, then they can use overwhelm against the chosen, which is really strong against chosen because, in my opinion, chosen are really vulnerable to melee defense, strong melee defense. And obviously, that's just sort of what overwhelm does. It increases your melee defense. So we'll see if that works. Who knows? This guy is also crippling strikes. With this hammer, I believe that every single hit should cause an injury on a chosen. We'll see if it works out that way. It looked that way in a simulator, but the simulator is a bit buggy, so we'll see. This guy's an executioner. Hopefully these two can work together well. This guy's also an executioner. This guy tends to cause injuries anyway without crippling strikes, so you know, ideally this guy would be between these two, but I want this guy here to help their overwhelm effect because I think that'll be more important. Plus, these two are pretty strong on their own for various reasons, like, you know, Daze is a really strong ability. This guy can stun if things worse comes to worse. This guy is a classic Indom tank on the side, so, or not Indom tank, Indom Panzer, tank in the Dialethea sense, if that's how you pronounce her name. I don't know how to pronounce anybody's name. The Dial sense, as we call her. What she calls a tank, which is a death machine. But basically, he's going to be sitting here and using Indom single target attacks. So, in review, Pooper, Scooper, technically Pooper, 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 I guess, Scooper, 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 okay? So, we don't really mind if the Poopers die. They are somewhat easily replaced. I'm not super picky with my brothers. The weapons are guaranteed to drop, like, even if they die, right? So it's not the end of the world. If this guy or this guy dies, I will be heartbroken, basically. So those are the stakes. This guy is also sort of whatever. Okay, and then we have our backline. I really debated not bringing this guy, but because I do expect people to die, I want to be able to rally the troops when it happens. So I don't want people panicking. We don't have great resolve, which reminds me to check that I have my resolve trinkets equipped on the right guys. Okay. We even have a free trinket. And okay, everything looks fine. Anyway, so we have our backliners. Our backliners are weird. Obviously, if we had gone mass duelist thrower, we would be in a better position, but we didn't. So whatever. C'est la vie. It's just Sujak things, right? So what is this guy? I don't know. He's kind of cool though. I liked him. I like using him in fights. He is a basically the melee skill in this fight. The only relevance is Thorned Whip, so he can disarm in some situations if need be. He probably would be better on the left, but I really want this guy with crippling strikes here. And again, I guess my executioner's on the right. Does that make sense? Oh, it was also the overwhelm I was thinking, because I want to help overwhelm dudes here. But honestly, he kind of makes more sense on the right. And again, this guy is going to cause injuries as well, so I guess it doesn't matter. Anyway, this guy is my duelist thrower, right? This guy is going to kick ass, no doubt about it. I have no idea why he has bullseye. That was not a smart decision. Uh, this guy, overwhelm archer, seemed cool at the time. I always end up making a guy like this. We'll see. He also has throwing, but not duelist. We'll see. Not the best. And this is actually, crossbow, heavy crossbow versus chosen is very good. So I feel like this is the group we're going to use. I only really care if these two die. Anybody else who dies, whatever. We can find better users of some of these weapons. In fact, some of them are in training, like this guy is going to be a better fencer. We have tons of poopers that we don't need back here. I'd kind of like to throw into the grinder and just have them die, but what's going to happen probably is they're going to help replacements level if I keep playing this run in the first place. So anyway, I think I finally succeeded in describing my company. Um, there's some weird synergies going on here. It's a very weird group with some weird builds. Some of it I'm not going to bother explaining right now, like why this guy has crippling strikes and execution on a two-handed mace. It's kind of weird, but we'll see. And maybe I'll get a chance to talk about it again later. So this is the first part. Second part will be actually fighting this monster, and hopefully it goes well.